Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name's Jake and I'm an artist and illustrator here on YouTube. I'm just getting started, but I just want to throw out a bunch of tutorials on here just because I feel like the art tutorial space is a little bit hard to withdraw information from right now. So I just want to make quick, easy tutorials for people to follow and improve their art. So today for our example, I'm going to be using this piece right here, which I just did, of the wonderful Julio Torres, however you pronounce his last name. He's wonderful. But yeah, just going to take you through the process. It's quick and easy, just a few simple steps with some dedication and patience, and you got it. For this one, I did it in Procreate, so that's what I'm going to be kind of guiding you guys through, but it's applicable to really any drawing software or program. So yeah, just letting you know. But yeah, let's get into it. Alrighty folks, different day, same bedhead, but let's get into it. So here I have my line art. I throw this layer right on top of everything. So for the coloring process, we're going to be working completely under this layer. We're not going to really worry about it for a while, but I just want to show you my sketch that I have. It's super light. I just wanted to block in the shapes, and while I'm doing all of this, I'm working with a reference. I don't have it right now, I think it's on my laptop, but just something to continue to look back and compare on is really important. So yeah, there's my sketch, and then here's the line art that I decided I'm happy with. So we're not going to touch this for a while, but however, this isn't really final because once we finish doing all the coloring underneath, we're going to do a big painting layer right on top, which you might see over here. But yeah, this is something we won't touch for a while. And for this process, it's about 8 or 9 layers, so nothing crazy. Could be a lot worse, but just letting you know. So yeah, we got this line art, and then so the first thing we're going to do underneath this layer is the flats layer. This is a super simple layer just to block in the main colors. Like you see, I have his skin, his hair, and his hat. Super easy. Just got to block it in. And there you go, layer number 1 done. Then for the second one, we're going to do soft gradients. The purpose of this layer is just create some tonal difference from the various subjects on here. Like if you see, I added a little bit of shading to his hair, to his hat, to his skin, but just stay very soft with it. Get yourself a really big soft brush just so you could block it in without having to worry about definition or anything, just to create a little bit of color interest, if you know what I mean. So we got that one. And then the next thing I always do, this is skin specific, but it's more of like a ready skin blush. This is definitely this doesn't have to be done, but it's more to taste. I love skin that looks a little blushy or fleshed out, and so it wasn't really a part of the reference, but I was just having fun and decided to throw that on there. But if you want to create interest in a piece, especially with skin, I definitely recommend it. So there you go, 2 down. So after this is where we get into the main shading layer. So let me show you what this layer looks like without everything else. This is what the layer looks like. We're going to be working with this sort of purpley blue right here. It's actually purple. Let me turn off this color. So yeah, this is what it looks like. This is where you're going to be spending time looking at your reference, seeing where the shadows are defined, etc. I'll show you the 2 colors that I use because that's literally it. It's these 2 right here. It's like this soft, a little bit more muted purple, and then this sort of really light pinky red. So for the shading layer, these are the only 2 colors that I use for most of my all of my shading, honestly, and it works really well. The darker purple is more for really the defined shadows, and then the pinky red is to kind of soften it and give and pull away from that darkness so it doesn't feel so blocky. So all you have to do is get a multiply layer. I don't even offset it or lower the opacity because these colors are already muted. I don't have to do that, so I just throw it on the multiply layer, and this is all I do for my shading in these parts, and it works really well. Let me show you what it looks like with everything so far. Yeah, this is what it looks like with everything so far. So we're getting there, we see the gradients, we see the blush that we added, and then with this shading layer, it's starting to build form and come together. So yeah, you only need 2 colors like that for that layer, and that's it. And then what I do after that is I create another layer on top of this one right here for tonal hues. Before I show you, let me explain what that means. Might not be explaining it right, but this is how it works in my brain. This is a clipping mask layer, which means whatever you draw on here only gets drawn on the layer below, which is our shading layer. So for this one, I just kind of add a little bit more depth with this. If you see, I use like a deep brown, just like a really deep skin color, and I kind of deepen some part of the shading that just doesn't feel as intense as I would like it to. For example, the hand and the shoulder in the reference, it's a lot darker than how it appears with this shading layer, so I use this layer on top to deepen it. So yeah, that's literally it. Super simple, nothing crazy. Then the one on top, this is our main highlights layer. This is another big one. I'd say the big ones mainly are the main shading and the main highlights, which I have on the right here. These are the ones that you're going to spend like the most time chipping away at and like trying to figure out how they look good. So this is just an overlay layer. It looks a little funky now, but it's definitely a trust the process kind of thing. But yeah, let me show you what this one looks like. Again, I didn't lower the opacity or anything. Oh, I can't really show you here with the blue background. So for this one, it's just a simple yellow and an orange. I don't have them saved, but it's just like really bright, not super saturated, just yellow and orange. Again, same thing with the shading layer. I use the yellow to block out like the main areas of highlight, or just like bright light hitting the skin, the hair, the fabric of the hat. And then I use the orange to kind of soften some of the places that feel hard. So it feels more of like a color transition rather than just like the stark yellow. So yeah, with those two layers, you're just gonna need that other color to kind of transition it into the rest. But yeah, another simple one, and we'll see how that affects everything. And then perfect. So that's literally most of the layers underneath. And then the only thing I add is this line art coloring layer on top of my line art. What this does, this is another clipping mask layer, is it just colors. I colored the line art just to make it not as like inky and in your face, just to like make some more softness. And you really get to select like where you want the hard lines versus where you want the soft. Like for example, all under here, it just looks a lot more skin like with this color painted over it. Same thing with down here. So yeah, definitely just play around with coloring some of your line art to see how it works and see how it softens the areas that you want it to. And then after that, that's literally it for everything. And then so after this point with all of these layers, I just make another layer on top, and this is my painting layer, where now that I have all of these established tones, I just go crazy and start painting or digitally painting right over everything. And so this is what it looks like after I do that. I add a border, I soften his face. I get like I just really get fun and creative with it. So for example, let me show you guys. So this is like what the finished piece looks like. And so what I did was I combined all of the layers that we just worked on once I was happy with them. And this is where I can start kind of playing around. Wait, one layer. This is where I can kind of start like shading or blending in a way that softens everything. So everything looks very seamless and not as like strict and harsh, if that makes any sense. So yeah, that's what I do after that, and then I just keep painting over it. I made a background, and that's really it. Everything that I showed you is kind of just the steps to having that fun painterly experience, but having all the tones and the colors to back it up, if that makes any sense. But yeah, that's my process pretty much right now. Um, Let me know if there's any questions or anything, or if I need to clarify. I'll probably have the steps in the description just so it's a little easier to understand with like a visual and reading. But that's about it for me. If you're interested, I have the finished piece right here on my Instagram. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you learned something. Bye bye. Thank you.